The early morning mist hung heavy, clinging to the quiet street. A chill permeated the air, seeping into Emily's bones as she hurried along the sidewalk. She pulled her coat tighter, her breath misting before her. It was an ordinary day, yet a strange unease prickled at the edges of her awareness. Reaching the coffee shop, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee momentarily dispelled the unsettling feeling. She stepped inside, the warmth a welcome contrast to the damp chill outside. As she waited for her order, her gaze drifted towards the window, the street scene blurring into a canvas of muted colors. A figure, tall and slender, turned the corner at the end of the street. Something about the way the figure moved, a hesitant glide, sent a shiver down Emily's spine. She tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the early hour and the gloomy weather. The days that followed were punctuated by fleeting glimpses of the figure, always at a distance, always partially obscured by shadows. Emily would catch a glimpse as she turned a corner, a fleeting impression of a tall, thin silhouette melting into an alleyway. Each encounter left her with a growing sense of unease, a knot of anxiety tightening in her chest. One evening, as she walked home from work, the streetlights cast long, distorted shadows. The air was thick with the threat of rain. Emily quickened her pace, her thoughts filled with the unsettling image of the figure. She could sense eyes on her back, a palpable weight that made her skin crawl. Suddenly she heard a soft, almost inaudible sound, a shuffling step behind her. She risked a glance over her shoulder, her heart pounding in her chest. Nothing. The street was empty. She chided herself for being foolish, her imagination running wild. The encounters became more frequent, the figure bolder. Emily would see him across the street, watching her from the shadows of a doorway. Once she caught him staring at her through the window of a crowded cafe. Each time their eyes would meet for a fleeting moment, his gaze cold and calculating before he would disappear as quickly as he had appeared. She tried to rationalize his presence. Perhaps he was just a harmless eccentric, his movements dictated by some unknown pattern. But deep down, a primal fear whispered that something was not right. He was always there, lurking on the periphery of her life, a constant, unsettling presence. One evening, as Emily returned home, she noticed a single white envelope propped against her apartment door. Her name was scrawled across the front in an elegant, spidery handwriting that sent chills down her spine. Her hand trembled as she reached out to pick it up. Inside the envelope, she found a single yellowed photograph. It showed a group of people she didn't recognize, their faces blurred and distorted as if the picture had been left out in the sun. And in the background, partially obscured by shadow, stood the figure. He was staring directly at the camera, his eyes burning with an unnerving intensity. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through Emily's composure. He wasn't just watching her, he was documenting her, collecting moments of her life like trophies. She could feel his presence closing in, the walls of her safe haven crumbling around her. She spun around, desperate to escape the suffocating feeling of dread, but it was too late. He was there, standing in the middle of her apartment, a triumphant smirk playing on his lips. "We have so much to discuss," he whispered, his voice a chilling rasp that echoed in the silence.